Hi friends, I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be focusing on a new eyeshadow palette. I feel like you guys enjoy these videos and I like filming them honestly, where it's just like one product that we focus on, especially when it's an eyeshadow palette. Hello, this is Allie from the future. Before we get too far into things, I forgot to mention earlier, I need your help with something. You guys know like a lot of people post gift guides, things like that. I love to do that myself, but also I was thinking, since I love to hear from you, I want to make a video trying out your wishlist items or like the things that you feel like would make a great gift or what you're gifting yourself for the holidays. I want to know, and I'm gonna be compiling them all, trying some out, maybe just mentioning some, but I thought it would be so fun if you helped me create an ultimate like beauty makeup gift guide. So there's a Google form in the description box down below. Thank you in advance for your help. And now let's get back to the video. I just barely received this in PR, so Huda Beauty sent me their Pretty Grunge collection. The Pretty Grunge eyeshadow palette is what we're gonna be playing with. They do have some extra additional like products that they did launch at the same time. I may dabble in these, may not, I'm not sure at this moment. I just know I wanna try the eyeshadow. So let's get into it. This is a really fun, obviously kind of 90s grunge inspired palette as I'm dropping everything. This is a more cool tone palette, which I personally love cool tones, you guys know. From what I can tell, it seems like something I will really enjoy. This retails for $69. Here's the front, and it has like a little protective layer on it. Ooh, so it has like a mirror lettering, which is cool. Oh, wow, okay, so here's the inside. Look how pretty, this is so nice. A lot of different textures in here. You've got mostly mattes, you've got some metallics, and also it looks like some topper shades as well. I am excited. What I'm thinking of doing today, actually what I'm going to do today, I thought it would be fun to kind of play around with a potential everyday look using this palette and then amp it up with a more like smoky look, which is obviously how this palette was marketed. Oh my gosh, okay, so I didn't realize it looks like there's like a matte black in here and then a black cream, which is interesting. I'm excited to try this. I have a lot of my makeup already done. I just feel like it's a lot easier for me to just jump into the eyeshadow. But I'll have everything that I have on my face down below if you want to know. Let's see, for an everyday look. You know, it's kind of cool that if you cover up half the palette, you get kind of a nighttime color story, in my opinion. And then if you go this way, it's a little bit lighter and more daytime. I don't know if they did that on purpose or not, but that's just what I'm seeing. So we're gonna kind of play with these tones over here. I'm gonna pick up the shade Liberty from the very top left corner. I'm gonna take off the, I love the sound, take off the mirror protector. And we're gonna start with this in the crease as our transition shade. My nose is so dry. I don't even know how to combat this today. It all of a sudden dropped temperatures here in Utah, and then I just feel like my skin is so dry all of a sudden, and my lips too are so dry, and like it takes a while for me to switch up my skincare routine even more for it to stay feeling hydrated. It just kind of hit me out of nowhere. So, I mean, you can still like see the dryness, and I literally, there's nothing I can do about it. It just is what it is today. This is blending very, very beautifully. I actually love how this is a mostly cool tone palette, but this shade specifically might be the most warm toned, which I think is nice to have at least one in here, just in case you want to round out those cool tones with a little hint of warmth so that it doesn't look completely lifeless. It's nice to have one warm toned neutral to kind of do that for you. I'm going along the lower lash line with this and then connecting it to the existing shadows on top. And then I think it would be pretty to take this light shade right here. I'm thinking it would be nice to create a little bit of dimension with a lighter shade here. This is actually applying pretty peachy yellow. For some reason in this lighting, it didn't look as peachy. Of course, leave it to me to select the only like warm tones in the palette to start. But it's good to know that these exist. It's really nice actually. So I'm just kind of putting those on the lid. Let's go in with this shade right here called Stand Up. This looks like a really nice taupey bronze color. This is more of a satin shade versus a metallic. It's really, really soft. Really, really buttery too. As I'm putting my finger in the palette, it's super pretty. Since this is more of a daytime look, I'm gonna create like a shadow wing using one of the chocolate brown colors in the palette, and it's right here. This is called Hope. This is actually a super soft look that I am able to create with this. Initially, when you look in the pan, it's like you don't really think that something as neutral and actually like more warm toned would come out of this palette, but it's good to know. I'm gonna pop on some mascara just to finish things off. And then we'll do a little lip combo as well. I'm gonna pop on a little bit of this blush. I bought this during the Sephora sale. This is the Valentino blush in 09. It's basically like a soft peach, which I think would just pair nicely with the eye look right now. And then I'm just gonna line the lips with my one liner from Tower 28 in Work of Art. And I was gonna try to do a different lip combo than what I had in my head, but I think this is gonna be perfect. This is Effortless Lips from my beauty brand, Ravie Beauty. And the shade Lily is just gonna be the perfect kind of peachy pink complement to the eyes and the cheeks for this. Well, I feel like this is a very soft, like peachy, super chic, very easy wearable everyday look using this palette. I'm actually surprised at how soft this is, considering most of these shades are pretty intense, which I'm excited to dip into for the next look. That's gonna be really fun. But if you were on the fence about this palette because you didn't want to do a smoky eye every day, I feel like you don't have to do a smoky eye. In fact, there's a lot of different lighter, softer matte tones that you could do any sort of daytime look with. This is just the one that I came up with today. But yeah, let's go into look number 2. We're gonna really amp it up and see what the possibilities are with this palette. All right, for this next look, we're gonna really go for it. Of course, if I wasn't doing 2 looks, 1 palette, I would definitely suggest doing your eyes first for a more glam look. But for this video, I just removed my eye makeup and we're gonna start from there. So hopefully there's not too much fallout. We're definitely gonna lean more cool toned with this look. So we're gonna start out with this shade right here called Love Anarchy. And I'm gonna start using this to really shape out the crease of the eye. And then I'm buffing it above toward the brow just to create a base and transition shade. This is a really pretty color. With that same color, but a smaller brush, I'm taking that along the lower lash line. And I'm letting this kind of be buffed lower than normal because I'm really trying to create that smoky, grungy look, obviously. So I don't want things to be too perfect around the eye. Intentional, but not perfect. This shade is so pretty. I'm just continuing to really buff and blend that out, up toward the brows a little bit, out toward the end of the brow, and then of course connecting that lower lash line into those shadows as well. Let's take a little bit of this like lavender color. I have no idea what this will look like on the eyes, but I'm wanting to see. I'm gonna take this on like the outer edge to add a bit of lavender. This is the color Beauty Chaos. I'm using the smaller brush I was just using to like really sculpt out a little bit more of that crease. I mean, this is really showing up as a true lavender. I love that kind of taupey undertone that it's giving too. And then I'm just gonna add that same color along the lower lash line to match. Next, I'm gonna mix Brave and Fearless, these 2 colors right here. And I'm gonna start adding a little more depth on that outer corner of the eye. I'm so drawn to this bottom shade in the palette. It's called Rebel. And I'm gonna take this on my fingers. Wow, this is like a molten chrome. We're gonna apply this all over the lid. Oh wow, that is spectacular. Oh my gosh. This is such a cool formula, and this color, are you kidding me? Especially blended into those kind of lavender, grungy purples. Oh, so pretty. Okay, I'm going across the lower lash line with this color right here called Strong AF. I'm kind of picking up more of the silver pieces in this, and I'm applying this along the lower lash line. I definitely would suggest to do the eyes before the face with this palette because of all these glittery textures as well. I'm trying to buff away some of the fallout, but it's not as easy as it looks. Some of it just gets kind of like lodged in there. So definitely a palette you want to do your eyes with first if you're going more glam. I'm gonna take this color now. This is called Nirvana. It's a really beautiful deep purple. We're just going for the purples in this palette. I'm really into them. I'm adding a bit more depth on that very, very outer corner. I feel like in order to really add to the effect, I'm gonna go in with black eyeliner. This is what they actually sent in this kit. I don't think this is part of the collection necessarily. I think this existed before, but I'm assuming it will just help with the look. This is the creamy Kohl longwear eye pencil in Very Vanta, which is extreme black. And I'm gonna go right up against the top lashes with this, all the way across. And then I literally never do this, but I'm gonna line the waterline with the black liner, as well as the outer third of the lower lash line. I'm smudging that out a little bit with an angled brush. And then I'm gonna take the shade Maverick, which is a gorgeous kind of taupey silver. And I thought this would be pretty as the inner corner highlight. All right, mascara. We need something pretty intense. So I'm gonna take the Nabla Vicious Mascara and I'm gonna really, really layer this up on the top and bottom lashes. I'm adding a very, very light amount of concealer on top of what I already have on my face. I wouldn't normally recommend something like this, but I'm just trying to like clean up the lower lash line a little bit more. I think I want to do the lips and then we'll finish up like the cheeks and stuff. I wanted to use this Sephora lip liner in the shade Dressed to the 90s. I was hoping this would be a little more brown than what it is. So we are switching gears. I'm going to line the lips with the Endless Cacao pencil from Makeup Forever. This is like a true cool toned brown. After that, maybe we just pair it with a gloss. This is the Pat McGrath gloss in the shade Love Potion. I just barely bought this during the Sephora sale as well. Yeah, I just wanted like a super cool toned lip to go with this. I am gonna add a bit more bronzer. I'm just gonna wear a little more of what I already had, which was the Uoma Beauty bronzer. And then I'm just adding a little more of that same Valentino blush. I actually feel like this works to have a little bit more of a warm tone something on the cheeks, just to balance out the cool tones a bit. I'm gonna set the face with some Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, and I'm going to set the brows with my Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. Okay, so here's the final evening look using the Huda Beauty Pretty Grunge palette. Obviously, these types of looks are definitely what makes this palette shine. The color all over my lid, the Rebelle, this one, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with it. I feel like every palette needs like a hero shade, and that to me is exactly what this is. I love that this leans more cool toned mauve, not necessarily just taupes. Otherwise you'd be feeling like the Natasha Denona Glam palette, which I love, by the way. Love those types of colors, but I love how this has a little bit of mauve, like a lot of mauve actually. Then you have your warm tones. There's a little bit of everything. If you're into cool tones, if you're into specifically like more mauve leaning cool tones, I think you would be obsessed with this palette. Like, I love how this look turned out, and I cannot wait to make more looks with this. To be honest, I'm not sure how much I'm going to use this cream black shadow. The same thing goes for the Patrick Ta matte palette where there's like a cream black. It's just not something that I normally use, but that's just me personally. Sometimes that's the case with Huda Beauty palettes. I feel like there's one or two of their more like innovative formulas, like that like jelly one I never ever use. But then they have such stunning metallics and things that make it worth it for me to have the palette. So I'm honestly a big fan of this. I didn't get to try out every single color in here. I'm excited to continue to dip into it, but I feel like this is such a vibe, and I don't feel like I have a palette that does quite this undertone. I mean, I have a lot of cool toned colors and palettes, but again, I love how this is more of like that mauve cool tone. It's so pretty. I would love to hear from you guys. What do you think of this? I mean, obviously, this is one that I don't feel like is a need for maybe everyone, but it definitely is so stunning. That shimmer color is just divine. It's so pretty. And I love that you can go for a super natural everyday look with this palette too, so don't be scared that you'll only be able to wear a smoky eye with this palette. You definitely can create something super soft and everyday appropriate. And then you can amp it up with things like this. I'm obsessed. I really enjoyed playing with this palette. I think it's a really nice color story overall. I feel like if it was not sent to me in PR, I probably would have bought this just because it seems to be something that I would enjoy with the cool tones. And now that it's on my eyes, I really do feel like it lived up to my personal expectations, which is great. But yeah, I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this palette? Does it remind you of anything else? Maybe I'm just not aware of palettes with this type of color scheme. Let me know in the comments. I really do love the more purpley tone. I feel like I need to change my nails to match this. Like, it needs to be a more grungy nail color, but that's beside the point. Overall, I'm really happy with this palette. $69 though is, you know, it's pricey, and that's as much as the Natasha Denona palette. So for me, this isn't like an everyday staple. This is definitely an addition where like the Mario Ethereal Eyes is like absolutely a need, and also the I Need a Nude palette from Natasha Denona, like those types of palettes I feel like you reach for every day all year. This is like a little bit more of a niche palette in that sense, to where maybe you wouldn't need it on a daily basis, but you know, I'm just speaking for myself. Maybe there's somebody who loves to wear these tones every single day, and if you do, you can definitely create everyday looks with it. So overall, really happy. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing a couple of looks with this palette. Let me know if you want to see other palettes I could do multiple looks with, or more looks with this palette, whatever you guys want. You know, I love to create videos based off of what you want to see. So let me know what other palettes you want to see me create looks with. And yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you.